Hey, we're back. So I've been holding off on making any videos till I got the Ram 50 figured out. Got the steering figured out. I actually got it down the road. Actually, it would have been last year in August. Believe that it was 21 years to the month that I had bought this truck, and it's just been sitting around. So, as you've seen there a few years ago, I started making videos and getting to her. So, didn't want to make a video yet till now. Wanted to make sure I got it down the track, got some things figured out, make sure it goes down the road straight, and it does. It goes quite well down the track, nice and straight. Going down the road itself on the highway, a little bit different. It still wants to go back and forth in the front end a little bit. I do not have an alignment done yet though. Just eyeballed it, so that's the focus for today's video. I'm going to go over the steering. So I'm going to get you set up, turned around, and we're going to get to it. So, let's see. So, as you can see, steering there, rack and pinion, all the way across. It looks fairly straight. Just eyeballing it. It does look fairly parallel with the lower control arm, and then it pivots right in about the same area the lower control arm pivots. Was able to take care of all that. Same thing on the other side. The rack itself, let's see. Alright, so there was a couple of holes already in the lower cross member here, so I just welded a couple nuts up in there, so this plate just comes right off of it, and then as you can see, it sits down about the thickness of my finger, so probably 1/4 inch, 3/8, something like that, below the cross member there. And then from that, let's see, if we go about here, we're looking from the bottom of that boot, or if we go in the rack itself, to the bottom of the plate itself is maybe 1 3/4 inch and 7/8. From the bottom of the cross member, we're looking maybe 1 1/4 or so. From the center of the rack to the front of the cross member, almost 4 inches, give or take a little bit. Just for any of you looking to try to recreate this process, if you're wanting my word of advice, if you've got one, you're wanting to V8 it, don't. That is a lot of work. So, I'll get you turned back around here. Turning around again. Hope you don't get that. So, right here, strut rod, whatever you may want to call it, goes from the frame to the lower control arm, with the inner tie rod front steering in front of the lower control arm, because these trucks came out with a steering box and it was located behind the lower control arm, and all the steering components was behind it, with the engine sitting all up in there. There just wasn't room for it. You really can't see it, but not from this angle at least. To put the starter on there, the starter would have been hitting the steering box unless I shifted the engine over to the passenger side, which wouldn't have put things. I put it straight in the truck, or even left to right, centered. Guess centered would be better than saying straight. Don't know why I thought of that, but Yeah, so it just made sense to me. I'm going to be sitting on the driver's side. I've got the battery and fuel tank sitting on the passenger side to help offset any weight of me on the driver's side. So I just centered it in the truck. Not a big deal, not to me at least. So to make this clear, I did have to put a bend in it, as you can see it there, because it just came up at an angle. Probably didn't have to do so much of a bend here, but then once I did put the bend, I had to extend the rod, make it longer. Same thing on the other side. Then getting the sway arm lengths. You just buy some that's too long, and then you cut your sleeve down to whatever length you may need. Take a look here. So with the starter right there, grab a light. You can see there's not a whole lot of room. So I could have moved it over, and you can see, maybe you can see that bolt hole there by the starter. That's where the steering box would have been bolted at. So that'll get that part out of the way. Come up in here, these steering knuckles right here for the steering intermediate shaft, that was all made. I believe these was like off of eBay, and they was listed for a Mustang 2. It fit just fine. The rack and pinion itself is out of a 96 Dodge Dakota. I wanted to keep everything as much as possible out of a similar, a single vehicle. I know if you've got to buy the rack and pinion, I think they was roughly $500. You can get a little bit cheaper off of the Rock Auto. This is the second one I had to buy because the first one leaked without even really using it, because it just sat in the garage most of the time. And then just mocking it up, moving it back and forth, it just ended up leaking, so I had to buy another one. Could not find my receipt or emailed receipt, so I had to buy another one. Different story about all that. So as far as everything else, I'll show you here. Move that out of the way. So header setup, it does wrap around the frame. If you that way I can get the starter in there. At one point I was able to actually get the starter out without having to remove these. Had to do it again the other day, and I had to remove the lower section of the header here. They've gotten some rust on them. I did the Cerakote non-bake, and with it sitting in a garage with a damp floor, they just got moisture and it didn't hold up so well. But I've got my air fuel ratio sensor there. This side here, it does not wrap around the frame. Zoom out just a little bit. You can see them up in there. I've got a Moroso remote oil filter relocator, and then it also mounts right above the rack and pinion. Got enough room to be able to pull it off without any leaks or without any issues. I've got a manual gauge on the top of it right there. That way, if I've got the hood popped, I can see that. And then if we go back, grab the light just in case. I go back some, you can see my pipes. I do have an X pipe, all 3-inch exhaust, Borlas. If you have your favorite, you have your favorite. I've got my 4-link suspension, brackets I had made or had cut. I did the drilling and then I welded them on. Same thing down here. Got them all mounted up here, and then I just, ding, time for lunch.